And again, with looking at the Indiana IEP, as an administrator or as a teacher of record, one of the things you'll have to do for your students is to enter in your parent information. And once we've looked at a student, the parent info button is right here on this menu. You'll have to add a new parent or guardian. Initially, you won't have anyone here. You have to add a new parent guardian on this screen. It'll ask you for their name and their relationship. You can see by this asterisk that these are required components. The question marked boxes are optional, so you can add more detail if you want to here. It's important that you record that the student lives, whether or not the student lives here or their legal guardian, and if the student, or I'm sorry, if the parent or guardian is going to be included on the IEP team. So this would indicate that this individual would be on that IEP team. And let me show you. I want to open up this information for the teacher, or I'm sorry, for the parent guardian, that for the initial one, we can mark this, and this is nice that we can separately list different things for the parent, for either parent if we need to. We can add comments at the bottom of the page, so we have details like, hey, we don't want to call this number after 5, that kind of thing. You can put that here. One thing that's extremely important is that we check this box, include on IEP team, if we want to have them as an option for parent. So when we go to create the case notice of case conference, this parent's information appears on that list. Otherwise, you're going to find when you get to that point, there won't be a name to drop down, and then you won't be able to work any farther past that in the IEP, or at least won't be able to finalize the IEP. So it's key that we go to parent info and make sure that somebody is going to be included on that IEP team. And you can add, if you want to list both parents separately, you can do that here and then add a new item for that in that notice of case conference that includes, so both parents can have a separate listing if you want to do it that way. Since we're talking about parents, let's look at the communications section here. This is where we can record all the communications we have or contacts we have with the parents or anyone else. We can add details here. We can add a contact if we want to. This would be, there probably would be additional options under contact result here, but we can just put in our date, say today's date, and then save this document. We can put in notes if we need to. If the contact result is not what we want, we can just put in the notes to describe what we're looking for. But this is important that, every time we contact the parent, we can record what that contact was about and what the results were from that. If we go back to the communication screen, we can add a non-parent contact. So if I want to describe someone else I talked to, or that might be on my team, or I could be contacting someone external to that, so it could be a doctor or a cousin or whatever it has to be, and then record the results of that particular meeting. But the intent being that this would be all the information that would be relevant to that student's record. And we can, when we add the parent contacts, we can reference those within the IEP. So as it asks us to have evidence that we contacted the parent, we can select the one that's relevant to that case. So if it's permission to test, if it's permission to finalize an IEP, or they sign an IEP, we can reference these contacts and go on within the IEP system.